Cause even Alves is a name, I'm staking my claim. Street smart edge with a touch of heart. Luso grit's the show where the hustle sparks. Luso grit, fight through the fire. Dreams don't sleep when you're climbing higher. Portuguese roots with the world in sight. Immigrant hustle, we shining bright.
All right. Today we have David Rodrigues in the house. How
Hello,
are you,
hello.
buddy?
Good, and thank you for saying my name correctly. Good, man. I was telling you before I have a little bit of a fever today, but
Yeah.
just hanging in there, making it through.
Yeah. Well, but the weather, if you were up here where I am, you probably have a little harder on you. So it's been so cold up here in
No,
Toronto, man. It's been a
no, it's
horrible
hot. I
winter.
mean, I'm sitting outside right now. It's hot. This is not like a flu. This is like a stomach bug. My kids brought it home from
Yeah.
school. One kid was
Oh
sick,
yeah.
and the other kid was sick. And my wife got sick, and I was the last
Yeah, I
one. So
know
now
how it
it's
is.
just my turn. Yeah.
No, I know, I know. My brother has been going through that a lot with this guy. I've been lucky this year. They've caught it like once, pretty bad, and it went away, and they haven't caught it again. So we've been lucky here in the house. All right, man. So we know you're in Florida, right?
Yes.
So which part of Florida do you live in?
I live right outside of Orlando.
Oh, nice. So a little more quiet
Yeah.
than the city?
Yeah. I'm definitely like in a suburb of Orlando. Maybe about like 15 minutes outside. I live more towards like Disney World.
Oh, nice.
I
But
can
you
hear the
didn't like
fireworks from
grow
my
up there, right?
backyard every day. No, I grew up
Oh
in New
yeah?
Jersey, like a very
Yeah.
Portuguese community, and then I've been here for like I just hit 13 years here actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, so then your whole upbringings was in New Jersey, closer to the Portuguese diaspora, because we don't hear too much of it in Florida, right?
No, I mean now there's more people moving here from like up
Yeah.
north, but even when I got here 13 years ago, there was nothing. There was no Portuguese supermarkets, no nothing. Like we had to drive 2 hours to get anything, and now we have some supermarkets. We have more people moving here,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's not like New Jersey. New Jersey was like very Portuguese.
I've definitely seen since COVID, like online, a big influx of like even like a lot of Portuguese moving towards Florida. But I guess it's a big state, so like depending on where they're going, if they disperse, you can't really see too much, right?
I think there's a lot of people coming here, even just non-Portuguese, and I think it's like during COVID, people
Oh yeah.
got kind of, I don't know, to realize like, hey, if we're locked up for a little bit, let's say up north, and it's cold, there's nothing to do here. But in
No, for
Florida,
sure.
there's a lot to do. Like we would just go walking on nature trails or go look for alligators at the lake, whatever. Like we could be outside still and not be around people and during that time. So I think people started to kind of, I don't know, almost like, especially now that people can work remote and stuff,
Oh yeah.
kind of waking up a little bit more to like, hey, I could go live in the tropical weather and still work my job wherever. Um, yeah, but when we came, it was just like nobody was really coming here at the time. Houses were so cheap back then, and we were
Yeah,
like,
I
let's
saw,
just
man.
go.
10 years ago, I would look into some prices. I'm like, because Toronto was already so expensive. And then I'll look at the price in Florida and I'm like, holy shit. Like if I
Yeah.
have, you know what I mean? It was like a major, but now no, like now Florida's got
No,
went
not
up
the
too.
same as everywhere else. But
Yeah.
when I got here, our first house was like $100,000, first
Oh
house,
yeah.
and you can't find that anywhere anymore. But back
No,
then,
no.
I say back then, only 13 years ago, that was normal here. You could find tons of houses for like dirt cheap. Now
Hmm.
Florida, because I think so many people have moved here, the pricing has kind of
But
caught up
yeah.
to everybody else.
And they moved from everywhere. They're coming from California, from the north, from everywhere.
Yeah, the town I live in is full of Brazilians. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, full. If you go to the store or you go out to eat, you just hear Portuguese. It's just so
Nice.
many Brazilians. So I think this is like my town at least is a very popular destination for Brazilians.
Yeah, they like the good weather, so you can't blame
Yeah.
them. All right, man. So yeah, so you came up in New Jersey. Your parents were like they were the ones that immigrated here, right?
And my sister. My sister was born in Portugal and my parents, and then they immigrated here when my sister was like, I think 1 or 2 years old. And then I was
Yeah.
born here. Yeah.
So where did they come from? From Portugal? Which area are they
So my
from?
mom, my mom is from Lisboa, like the
Yeah.
city, and my dad was born a little bit more north, in an area called Lamigo, but he moved
Okay.
to
Yeah.
Lisboa when he was like 10 years old to go work. So my
Yeah.
parents met in Lisboa. So I have roots a little bit more north as well, but really mainly Lisbon because that's where both my parents grew up, and that's where they met each other.
Do they do they still occasionally go back, or do they set up shop here and it's been hard
Oh
for them to
no,
go
they go
back?
back every year, man. They go
Oh
every
yeah,
year. I go every 2 years. They go every year. I would go every year too if
beautiful.
I didn't have the kids. It'd be a little
Yeah,
easier,
I
but
know. I think about
I try to
that
go
too,
every.
man.
I try to go every 2 years. I'm trying to set something up for September this year, but my parents go all the
Yeah,
time. My grandma's still alive on my mom's side, so they go back, all the time to go visit her.
yeah, that's good stuff. I try to go too, like, but so I was born here, but then I grew up in Port. I lived in Portugal for 20 years. Then I moved back like 12 years ago,
Mm.
and since I've been here, I've been so horrible. I've only been back twice, so I want to go this summer. Like, I'm trying to work to make it happen. So I definitely want to go back. You miss everything, right? It's the atmosphere, it's
You
everything. The
start to
food, the
honestly
people.
like if you're away for too long, you start to feel it like I need to get back there, Like that's not where I am right now. Like I haven't gone in 2 years and I'm feeling that itch, like, man, I need that food. I need that just environment and like just the energy over there is just so different. You start to feel like you need to get over there.
Yeah. But especially where I'm at here, like we don't have the ocean here, right? You guys, depending on which side you are, you still have the Atlantic Ocean, but like we don't have that shit here. So like for
Yeah.
sometimes there, it's like you take a 20-minute drive, you're in the ocean, you have the best view in the world. Here, I don't get that. So it's like I would pay like I, I would pay a lot of money if I had a beach, even within 2 or 3 hours like that. I would go. But we just
Where were
got
you
those
from in
lake
Portugal?
beaches. They call it the Silver Coast, Leiria, so it's
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
center of the
yeah.
country.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like it's close to Fatima, Batalha, Nazaré. It's close to a lot of hot spots in that center region.
And
It's very good.
I mean, I still want to move to Portugal eventually and kind of just retire
Yeah,
there, but I love
yeah.
like Ediceda, that area over there by the
Which
beach.
one?
It's so nice. Ediceda.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's a
It's
nice
like
area.
a little surf town.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love that area over there, man. But yeah, that whole Silver Coast area is real nice, but very popular now.
Oh yeah. Okay, before we talk a little bit about how you blew up on social media with your cooking stuff and your personality, but like what were you doing before this?
Just the same as anybody else. I worked a normal, like, kind of
Working?
corporate job.
Yeah,
You know, lived in my house with my wife. We're trying to build a family. It was just very normal life. And then COVID happened. Nobody knew what
yeah,
to do with their time. We didn't have kids back then. So I was like, I've always been really like a creative type and I loved editing videos and stuff. So I just started making these cooking videos. And
right.
once I started making like the Portuguese food, it really started to blow up. And nobody was doing it at the time online. Like there was no Portuguese food pages. There was like maybe one or two like older women. And I don't mean that
Hmm.
disrespectfully. I just mean literally
No,
older
I
women, like, older and they would post once in a while, whatever. But there was nobody regularly making Portuguese food online, and I was like, man, like I think there's like a little avenue here where like this is needed because people are gonna lose the culture
oh
unless
yeah,
there's like people like me, figureheads or whatever, trying to like
yeah,
preserve it.
yeah,
So I just started doing it, and then I realized that like it was connecting with people really fast. Like my page grew very fast at the beginning, and it was connecting. And I think it was just that piece of social media was missing. Like, obviously, we have the Portuguese kids and like Mike Rita. They do
yeah,
all the comedy and stuff. Like the comedy piece
yeah,
was there, but the culinary piece, like it wasn't represented on this side of the world.
yeah. Because it's safe to say, at least amongst the North American diaspora, you're like the pioneers of this online cooking stuff, right?
I like to say that like I'm the original, man. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
lot of people making Portuguese food online now, and a lot of
yeah,
them
yeah,
make really good food, and
for
nothing
sure.
against them. But like I said, when I started doing it, nobody was really doing it. I think Maria Lawton was the only one really
I,
on here, and like I said, she posts once in a while, and she had a book out. But um, yeah, I think like I don't know. I guess I'm like the original one.
yeah, and it's needed. Like sometimes I think you need like a new guy that looks like us, that talks like us, that knows how to translate from one generation to another. Like the way I don't have your cookbook yet. We're gonna about that in a little bit. But from what I
No worries.
understand, what I see, like you deliver it everything in an easy way that this generation can understand. So it's a great tool for the Portuguese culinary to continue amongst the diaspora and thrive.
Yeah, I think when
The
I
young,
when
the
I
young people cooking.
decided when I decided to do it and do the cookbooks, like I said, I'm going to write a book the way I would like to read it. Because when you buy a cookbook, there's usually like every recipe will have a really long story before it and what inspired the chef and all this stuff. I said, I don't
Yeah.
want any of that. I just want the recipe on one page and the picture on the other page. I don't want people having to waste time getting to the recipe. The number two thing was like the measurements. Obviously, in Portugal, we don't use cups, we use grams and
Yeah.
whatever. What's
Mhm.
the one that always trips me up is colher de sopa. That's a measurement there. Colher de sopa,
Yeah.
and it's like, what is that? A soup spoon?
Yeah, colher de sopa ou colher de chá?
So I would make sure I translated all the measurements into that this American style that we use here. A lot of these
Yeah.
recipes came from my mom, so like there was no measurements. She was just showing me how to do it, and I'd have to figure out how
Yeah.
to make measurements out of that. So that was like really important. And then the other thing was the way I wrote the instructions when you're actually cooking the meals is very simple to follow. Like it's not complicated. It's not unrealistic. Like I noticed something really quick was like everybody's stove, everybody's oven is different, right? So I
Mhm.
can't always say put this on sautéing for 15 minutes because that 15 minutes is different for everybody. So I'll say things in the book like when you start to smell this in your kitchen, you know to move to the next step. Like very easy
That's
things
right.
like that that people a beginner could follow and say, okay, like I know what he's talking about here. Like he said this is going to
That's
turn
right.
brown. Now it's turning brown. Let me do this. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so yeah, it was that. It was just like eliminate all the long stories, put the measurements in American style, and then make the instructions very simple. And I think that's what people enjoy about the books, man.
Yeah. But were you like even growing up? You were saying like these a lot of these recipes are your mom's. Was she actually like teaching you throughout the process, or is it something that you seeked after to learn how to do it?
So I always cooked when I was younger. Just I don't know. I guess I kind of had to. If like when I was home from school or during the summers, and I would always watch her cook and see what she was doing. But then when I moved to Florida and I started missing the Portuguese food, that's when I really had to like
Yeah,
learn how to do
makes
it
sense.
and get comfortable like making these dishes because like there was nowhere to find this. So I would call my mom and say, "Hey, how do you make this?" Or I called her like I messaged her last week and asked her how to make something. I'm like, "Hey, how do you make?" This is gonna sound weird. How do you make chicken feet? I don't know if you've ever eaten chicken feet, but I like to eat the chicken feet.
Yeah, I've had that. Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
so she was like telling me how to make it. She's actually coming here next week. So I said, you know what? Let's just wait till you get here and you make it and we'll film it.
Yeah, that's
Um,
amazing. Put the OG in the video.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So a lot of the recipes came from her, but over time, then I started kind of learning things from other people online or
Mhm.
inspired by other people online. And I've taught her things, like she doesn't really make a lot of desserts. So like when it comes to making desserts, she'll make my recipes. So we're
Nice.
at the point now where we can trade.
Because the thing about you, I think, is so unique, is because you're like you're you're. It's not like this picture perfect thing. It's like it's genuine. It's like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's your everyday brother, like or cousin who talks just like us, who and knows how to cook, and he's teaching, and he's doing it in a way with some humor. It's like with those
Yeah,
Portuguese old sayings, "Come call it," or
yeah.
"Então caralho," like
Yeah, yeah.
that's how we are.
That's exactly it, man. I remember when I was starting, I always thought like I want to come across on screen as if I'm this person's cousin. I want them
Yeah,
to see me and think like this guy could be my cousin. Like I don't want to come off like super uptight. I don't want to come off super like over professional or trying to play like this like person I'm not. I want to make sure that like you're learning from me, like the genuine me. And I think people really realize that when they meet me in person, when I do book signings or whatever, they're like, wow, like you're just one of us, like literally one of us. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm I'm just making food online, but like we're like I'm not any different. I'm not putting on too much of a show. Obviously, like I'll say some good ayus and stuff. That's a little bit of a show,
yeah.
but um I'm not trying to be like a chef online. I'm just trying to be the guy in the kitchen showing you how to make food.
So when you're like this whole book idea, did it come from you? Did you
No.
see someone else do it, or did someone give you advice?
No, I never wanted to do cookbooks. I just wanted to make videos, and people online kept asking me like, "When's the cookbook coming? When's the cookbook coming?" And I always was like, "No, I'm not doing it. Like, I don't want to do it." But then we got to a point where my page back then hit like 50,000 followers,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I think I need to do this. Like it's growing. These people want it, and I'm kind of just like missing an opportunity here if I don't do it. So I did the
nice.
first book, and I remember the first day. my wife asked me like, how many books do you think we're gonna sell this first day? And I said, I don't know, like maybe 10 or 12. Brother, I want to say it was like 500 the first day, and I was
Yeah.
like blown away because I didn't expect that at all. So that first book did really well, and then it was just like natural. I wanted to make a second book because I didn't feel like I got to really. I feel like I don't want to say I rushed the first book, but I got it out
Yeah.
so fast that I didn't get a chance to really like put some things in it that I wanted to. So then a few years later, I think 2 years later, I did the second book.
But you gotta think about it. You're also fortunate to be in a culture that we have so much food that you can make even a third or a fourth
And
book
I can make
probably, you
like
know?
10 books. I know, I know.
I
I
know.
think the first one ended up being a little bit more like beginner friendly. And then the
Yeah.
second one has a little bit more like deep recipes, like real
But
Portuguese recipes.
where can people, like, buy your books?
So the main place is my website. It's howtocookportuguesestuff.com/book. I have both my books there and all other stuff that I offer. There's a few stores in the States that sell it. Mostly in the, actually, I was gonna say Northeast, but not really. There's a store in California that sells it called Portuguese Tasty Desserts.
Mhm,
In New
mhm.
Jersey, there's a store called Portugalia. Um, there's a bunch of shops up in Canada that have it. There's a shop in Florida that has it. So there's a couple local shops that have it, but the best place is right through my website. And I do all the shipping myself still. They all
Oh,
come
yeah?
from my house. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen a couple of videos, sometimes you post, like, a whole bunch of boxes piled up,
Yes,
so I'm
yeah.
like,
But my
"Oh."
garage, my garage looks like
Yeah.
that right now. Like there's just I got a
Yeah,
delivery like last week. But
it's amazing.
I don't know. I always said like as long as I can do it myself, I'm gonna do it myself because
Yeah.
what's the point of giving Amazon like half my profit, like just to process my books? Like I put so much work into it. Like maybe one day I'll need them. Like if it gets too busy and too
Yeah.
crazy, but as long as I can do it myself, my wife helps me a lot, and we do it here, man. We package the books here ahead of time. So we have like stacks of packaged books. The orders come in, we print them out. I go to the post office like 2, 3 times a week
Yeah.
with like a big stack of books and make it work.
So where are you willing to ship out to? Like, just the US, or will you ship to
No,
Canada
I
too?
ship pretty much everywhere. I ship US, Canada. I ship a
Yeah.
lot to Australia, surprisingly.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Um, Those are probably like the main three.
The
And then
main places, right?
I also offer the books like in a digital format where you could just download them. It's a little cheaper. You don't have to pay for shipping. And I'll sell a lot of those like in Portugal, Belgium, France, like the countries where like the Portuguese people immigrate to over there.
Yeah.
They buy more of
Oh, yeah.
the digital copies.
So what, like, aside from shipping, what is, like, the price point more or less of your books?
They're $30 each. So,
Okay.
and that's
It's
the
a
same price they were
reasonable
when they
price.
first came out. I never raised the prices with the tariffs or whatever. Like
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
kept the prices the same. So they're $30 plus shipping. So if you're in the States and you buy it, the shipping's only $5. It's real
Yeah.
cheap. Obviously, if I have to cross the border, they charge a lot more, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't charge any extra on the shipping. I actually charge a little bit less. So let's say it costs me $20 to ship to Canada. I only charge the buyer 15. I take the $5 hit just to make sure I can
Yeah.
get the book over there and they have more of a reason to buy it. But yeah, I try to make it as fair as I can, with what the prices that the post office gives me.
Yeah, man. Because it's amazing that you came up with this idea, because you do see, like, sometimes people have this huge platform, and then they don't have a strategy, or they don't have like a product for it. But you created this huge platform, and you have a product to channel people to it. Like, there was this fitness guy I used to follow a lot, like a Canadian guy, Greg Doucette. He came up with a cookbook. So he was so big. He had like 2 million followers on YouTube, whatever. Like, he was a big guy. And then
Hmm.
what he did was he channeled his following that trusted him to his cookbook, but he sold it. I saw him explaining once. He sells it like extremely high so that people will value the book. Because if it's cheap, people like won't buy it, or if they buy it, they'll just sit it aside. But if they pay money for something, they'll use it. So, like, and he sold like a ton of, like, he made legit money. So, and good
Yeah.
for him. And that's what I think, like, we should be doing too. Like, if in your case, it's a perfect, because you have the following, you do the recipes, and now you have a product you can sell to people. And not only that, in your case, people follow you, and they want you to be a part of their life, because they're a part of yours. Like, they're following you, they watch you every day, and it's in a
Yeah.
different setting. It's in a different setting than, like, when we listen to music, we're in our car, or we're
Right.
sitting on a sofa. Like, people are in intimate settings when they're watching you. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're naked in bed. Sometimes they're
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
toilet. Like they're watching an intimate setting, so like you have like a big part of you're intimately in their life, you know? It's very different than old school celebrity style, you
For
know?
sure, for sure.
So it's
Yeah, I think it's it's I operate like a little different than like a normal influencer. Like a normal influencer makes their money on views and brand
yeah.
deals and sponsorships. That's not me. I make my money on my books, you know. That
Yeah, that's
product
good,
is
man.
everything to me because that's where I
Oh yeah.
focus pretty much everything, you know. I mean, I
Oh
love
yeah.
getting a lot of views on my videos and stuff, right? But at the end of
For
the
sure.
day, like I mean, I obviously make money on social media, but that's not the main driver. The main
Yeah.
driver is the books. Yeah.
So would you say would you know how to put like a number of percentage on like your followers or your viewers? Like, let's say a percentage for like the Portuguese diaspora versus people from Portugal versus like other cultures that have nothing to do with Portugal?
That are following me.
Yeah.
I would say it's like 95% US and Canada, and then
Yeah.
5% Portugal. And then the
Yeah.
other countries that like, Australia and all that. But my big if
Mhm,
I break it
mhm.
down by city, my biggest city for following is Toronto, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which is
It's your
surprising
way,
because I'm
man.
not from there, but
No, you're not
that's
from here, but you have a way that it's like you're distant cousins. Like you feel like
yeah,
you know
right.
the guy, you know? It's like one
Yeah,
of
yeah,
us.
yeah. Well, that's what I noticed when like when people meet me in out in the public or whatever, and they stop me to talk to me. They talk to me like very casual like that, as if I'm their cousin. Like, yeah, can I? What's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on? And it's like, man, like
Right.
usually you don't talk to a stranger that way, but I feel like I'm not a stranger to people. Like
Oh yeah.
they feel like they know me, because like it's comfortable like that. Whenever I'm out and somebody, recognizes me or wants to talk to me, it's very casual like that, and it's cool.
Oh yeah.
It makes me comfortable too because before doing all this, like I wasn't the most like outspoken person. I'm usually pretty shy actually, so uh, I could imagine like people coming up to me if it was very stiff or whatever, I would feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But the way it is so casual that it makes it comfortable for me too.
Because there's a local guy here. You know how you were talking about the Portuguese kids and Mike Rita is huge in stand-up.
Mhm.
Portuguese kids have those skits. They've been at it forever. They're like the OGs. But there's like a local guy because he's legit from the construction life. He does a whole bunch of those construction skits and stuff, and he blew up like crazy because he's relatable. Like you
Is
can
it
tell it's genuine. He's
Steve?
not playing Steve just for
Yeah,
laughs.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've spoken to him
Like you can
before.
tell it's
Yeah,
genuine. He's not playing the part. It's him. You know.
yeah.
So
I think
when
that's
it's
the
like
number
that,
one
it connects
thing. Like
faster.
when people start this, especially in the Portuguese community, like you have to be genuine because if you're putting on too much of an act, people are going to see right through that. And there's some people
Oh
out there
yeah.
that are like that. Even some food creators where like you can see right through it. Like this isn't them. Like this is them putting on a show. And I
Yeah.
think it's important for people to like stay genuine, stay humble, and like create your brand or your character around who you really are and how you really are. Maybe it's a little exaggerated or whatever, but I think it's
Mhm,
important to
mhm,
like stay genuine and not try to put on too much of a show that's not yourself because then it's just, you know, it's kind of
mhm,
phony
mhm.
at that point.
So on the on the social medias, it's been circulating a lot, and I've shared it a few times too about the those charts that have been circulating about the top cuisines, international cuisines, and Portugal has been making it like the top four, top five, let's say. Do you think that like have you seen any influx of like new type of viewership or not really?
I see a lot more now like people yeah, people who are not Portuguese that like
Yeah,
have visited Portugal or live
yeah,
there now and like they try to connect with me that way because like obviously I'm giving the recipes in English. So if
yeah,
let's say you move to Portugal and you're trying to immerse yourself in the culture, it's a lot easier to learn these dishes for me because I'm doing it in English, right?
yeah.
I think yeah, I definitely have seen a lot more non-Portuguese people come over.
Yeah. Well, it's because at least it's been trending online like what I've been seeing, talking about it. So
For
and
sure.
you're in this that pocket. So I guess you would know better than me for sure. Let
I'm
me
moving
ask you
over
something.
to the shade over here. It's getting too hot over there.
Oh yeah.
The
I
sun
wish I could say the same over
is
here.
hitting me, man. Where are you in
I-
Toronto or
yeah, it's in the Toronto GTA. I'm actually like north of Toronto, in between Brampton and Caledon.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say right now it's probably like 85 degrees Fahrenheit right now. It's pretty hot.
Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of Portuguese, like a lot of people get into the social media stuff and they blow up. But there's another side to it. Like you gotta know how to deal with some negativity, right? And
Yeah.
like everything, there's a lot. I think a lot of Portuguese people have a lot of time on their hands, so they look for the littlest things to critique and criticize. How do you go about that? Like they'll
It's so
criticize
annoying.
if your accent or your
But yeah,
or
oh yeah.
your cussing or whatever, you know?
It's very annoying, but it's like a double edged sword because the better your videos do, the more of that you're gonna get. Like if I have a video,
Yeah,
I posted a beat talk the other day. It's like at 1.5 million views, and the
yeah,
amount of crappy comments I get on that video is like absurd because it's like a lot of people are seeing it, and it's like you, you shouldn't use mustard, you shouldn't use
yeah,
masa
yeah. That
pimentón,
yeah.
you shouldn't use that cut of steak. I made a list of everything that people said I shouldn't use, and by the end of it, if I had listened to everybody, there'd be nothing left on the plate because like somebody had a problem with everything, you know? And I
Oh
think
yeah,
what people don't realize and what I've learned being on this side of it is we're all from different regions of Portugal and all of our families do it differently, right? And they think a lot of these people think that whatever they grew up with in their family is the
yeah.
only way, right? And
Oh
they
yeah,
don't realize that there's other ways that things are done or made or whatever. And that's
oh
I
yeah,
learned that very fast doing this page.
oh yeah,
I had one lady tell me like, we don't eat steak because steak's expensive. And the way
yeah, yeah,
I grew up was we had steak at least once a week, and it wasn't expensive. It was just a cut of meat, you know. Or
yeah,
if we
yeah,
would go out to eat at a Portuguese restaurant nearby, I would get a bitoque as a kid every time. So my experience was very different than that lady, right? That's saying we don't eat steak. I never ate steak, and I told her that I said, hey, like I always ate steak, and she said something like, you must be rich. I said, no, my mom is a cleaning lady, and my dad fixed cars. Like we were not rich.
yeah.
We were the opposite, you know. But people don't realize that the experience they had is not the experience everybody had, you know, and the
Oh,
way
for
they
sure.
made the beat is not the way my grandma made it, and or
Oh
whatever, you
yeah,
know, it's very different. So at the beginning, I would waste a lot of time arguing with these people. Now I literally just delete the comments because I'm like, if they're gonna take the time, sometimes they write like whole paragraphs, and I'm like, if they're gonna
no,
take the time to spend like 5 minutes writing me this long thing, and I know they're wrong, I'm just gonna waste their time and delete the comment because now they just wasted 5 minutes of their life, and I move on with my life. I'm not gonna sit here arguing about it because it's so dumb to argue because they'll never admit being wrong, even if they're
oh yeah,
wrong. And if I prove it to them, they'll still, I remember like I can't remember specific examples, but people will say something. I'm like, they're so wrong. Like, let me show them the literal definition of this word, what the
yeah, yeah.
encyclopedia says, and they still will not agree with it. You know, so I'm like, I don't argue anymore. You know, like you want to leave these comments, go ahead. I'm most likely gonna delete it unless it's something okay, like not disrespectful or whatever. But most of the time, there's just so over the top.
Oh yeah. Everyone thinks the world centers around the way they viewed the world, you know?
Things like people call me on these comments, like the names they call me is insane. Like somebody will get mad that I use the word caralho, but then they'll call me filho de puta on like in the
Yeah,
comment. I'm like, that's way
make that make
worse than
sense.
what I said, you know? Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I never attack anybody like with names in my videos. So like those comments are so bad, like it's so much worse than anything I say, but they get real nasty with me. So I've just gotten used to it now. It's like, hey, like the people that support me, the people that follow me, they're not the people leaving those comments. The people leaving those comments are 100% not the people that are going to buy my book anyway. So I'm not going to
yeah.
waste time on them. You know, I just move on.
So it's so true that you're saying like the way people do things are different from one place to another. Like I lived in the Leiria region, right? And
Mhm.
for us, the morcella has rice in it.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
when I came here, all my Azorian buddies were like, "No, man, that's no good. This is how you have it." And I'm like, I don't know, but I thought in Portugal, the mainland, it was all with rice. But even that's not true because it was in my
No. Yeah.
region, it's with rice. Because in Porto, they have it with no rice too, or
Yeah.
like caldo verde.
Yeah.
No, not called verde, canja. Like in my region, we have it with the calamacinga. A lot of other regions do it with rice. You know, when people are fighting each other, that's not how you do it. This is how you do it.
I get that a lot with like when I post Bifana videos. And like
Yeah,
it's nowadays I try not to even post Bifanas anymore because it opens up like this war where
yeah,
people from Porto will be like, that's not a Bifana.
yeah, yeah,
People from Açores will be like, that's not a Bifana. And I'm like, guys, this is a
yeah,
Bifana where I come from, okay? Like I
yeah.
understand
Exactly.
things are made different. Like, okay, in America, a pizza in New York is very different than a pizza in Chicago. But they're
Yeah,
both pizza, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
you
for
can't say
sure,
like
man.
that's not pizza, you know? But
It's
people
oh yeah,
just don't understand that, and it's like some people go on social media just to argue. Like they just that's why they're there, and
oh
uh,
yeah.
I just don't feed into it anymore. You know, it's like okay, guys, leave your comments.
Literally,
They're
like
good.
I, I've lived in Portugal. I've had bifanas all over the place. You'll have it like the whole fibra. You'll have it chopped up. Like you have it
Yeah,
all the different ways. But everyone's saying this
yeah,
is how it's done. This is how it's done. It's like
yeah,
you have it all the ways in Portugal.
for
It
sure.
just depends where you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So on a positive note, after this, is there any type of like other social media cooks from the diaspora, maybe one or two that you like what they're doing and you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, what a question.
Because
um,
obviously, a lot of these people are like following you and what you're doing, and they're a lot of them are copying, a lot of them are whatever it is. But like,
yeah, I think there's a
there's
lot of
other
people.
people I like a lot too, to be honest.
There's a lot of people out there making Portuguese food right now.
Yeah,
There's kind of a new wave of people almost.
yeah,
And I almost just wish a lot of them were just a little bit more humble, a little bit more open to making
mm,
connections. Because when I was starting, that's what we were doing. We were making connections with each other, like all the creators, me, the Portuguese kids, my creator, Taylor Amarante.
yeah.
There's this girl in California, Sylvia, that runs the Portuguese Collective. All we did and all we do is help each other out and connect
Oh yeah,
and offer advice and whatever. And now I feel like I've reached out to a lot of these new cooks that are making Portuguese food online, and a lot of them don't
hmm
even get back to me. They just ignore my messages or whatever. I'm like, when I was coming up, I would have accepted advice from anybody that was willing to help.
yeah,
And now it's almost like social media has become such a normal like job that everybody thinks they're a superstar right from the beginning. And I wish
yeah,
that that went away a little bit because we need to be more humble as
for
creators
sure.
because we're no better than anybody else or than our peers. And we all need to all be like working together. And I feel like this new wave is not working together anymore, man. But there's a lot of good Portuguese cooks out there. The one that I always like to shout out is David Leite. And he's
Okay,
the original man. Like when I got married, somebody bought me his cookbook for my wedding. That's he's been
nice.
doing this for so long. But he's a professional top level chef. Like he's not me, he's a chef. David Leighton makes phenomenal food, Portuguese food, not Portuguese food, but that guy
Hmm
knows what he's doing. He's legit. Um, like I said, Maria Lawton was doing this before I was doing it. She's got a lot of history doing this. But yeah, man, there's a lot of people making Portuguese food online now, you know, and
Yeah,
um, it's a little bit more flooded than it used to be.
yeah,
But I like to say there's room for everybody, you know, as long as we're all
oh
doing
yeah,
something, as long as we're all doing something different and doing it in our own style, there's room for everybody.
yeah.
When it becomes messy is when everybody's just trying to do the same exact thing. And that doesn't make sense,
So
you
let
know?
me ask you another question. Out of like other cultures, like or American or other types of cook influencers, is there anyone you would like to especially do a collab with? Like I could think like I think you have someone semi-local that's very popular. I think he goes by Guga Food, stuff like that. Like
No,
other
I don't know
types of
that page.
creators. You don't know it?
No, I don't. I don't.
I think he's a Brazilian that lives somewhere in Florida. He fancies himself as like specializing in like he specializes in steaks and stuff. So
Oh,
he has a
okay.
huge channel, like 5 million subscribers on
Wow.
YouTube, stuff like that, you
You
know.
know, I was gonna say, like, I don't really, I guess, watch too much food content when I'm watching like social media
Yeah.
stuff because I'm trying to think of names right now and I can't think of anybody. I have
Oh, yeah.
there's a few that I watch and like I know their faces, but I don't know their
Mhm.
names. Um, yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah,
they're
because the crossover, a crossover between different types of cuisines would be neat too, you know? Like, I'm
yeah,
just
no,
saying,
for
like,
sure.
if it was him, for example, he specialized in steak, he'd do something steak-wise and you would teach him something Portuguese food-wise, Stuff like that,
Yeah, yeah, no,
You
for
know?
sure.
It'd be an
That
interesting
does.
concept,
Yeah,
new
no, that
concept,
definitely sounds interesting. I like to watch people online like eating super spicy food and like
Yeah, yeah.
reacting to it and stuff. I watch weird videos, man, but um I guess that's probably why my cooking videos don't really look like other people's because I don't really watch much of that type of content. So like I'm not getting inspired
Yeah.
by that. I'm just doing what I think is right.
So overall, how would you say being the top Portuguese cook influencer in the diaspora, how would you say it's changed your life so far?
Oh man, I mean, obviously financially, like this is another stream of income in my life that
Hmm.
I didn't have before, which is cool.
Nice.
Um, I in Florida, like I don't get recognized too often because there's not many Portuguese people here. But
Yeah.
in New Jersey or like a Toronto, I can't go outside anymore without being stopped like five or six times, you know? So that's changed
Yeah.
where, and I always tell my wife this too, like if our kids are behaving bad, I have to be careful how I yell at them because people know me now, right? So if I'm being too mean or people might think I'm being too mean or too loud or whatever, like people know me. So I have to behave like not that I'm
But
mean to
that,
my children or anything, but like I have to always be on guard of how I act in public
yeah.
now because people know me, right? So, I can't be picking my nose at a red light in my car or scratching my butt or something. I have to be. I'm always on when I'm outside the house because you never know. And I say Florida, but like the other day, I had this lady come to my house to do some like paperwork. Do you know what a notary is? Somebody who notarizes paperwork.
Yeah, 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 I know.
Okay, so she came because we were doing a will for our kids in case I die, and she's like we're signing the paperwork and she's like I think I have your cookbook and I was like what, like this lady's American, not even Portuguese, and sitting in my garage, and we're signing the
Yeah.
paperwork on top of the boxes of my cookbooks, and I'm like, oh, they're all right there actually. And it turns out her friend lives in Fall River in Massachusetts and sent her my cookbook. So yeah, it's changed my life in that way where it's like I'm very recognized,
Hmm.
and I have to kind of be on guard with that. My mom is recognized all the time. She lives in a Portuguese community, so she gets stopped all the time when she's shopping or whatever. So it's changed for her a little bit as well. And I think there's as I've gotten older, I started doing this 6 years ago, and as I've gotten older in this journey, and now I have kids, I think another thing that's changed and that I'm more cognizant of is that I have to I'm a representative of this culture now, like on a
Oh
big
yeah.
scale, and I have to do that right. I can't be out here, I don't know, giving the culture a bad name. I can't be out here, um, not that I'm this type of person anyway, but like I can't be out here behaving a certain way that would reflect badly on our culture because I represent at least the culture here in America. So
Hmm.
um I think that that's like a very important like torch to carry, and I like recognize that now. Whereas when I was a little bit younger doing this, like that didn't hit me, and now I realize like there's a lot of younger people watching me, kids watching me that are either going to connect or not connect because of how I approach this. So like I have to be responsible about how I do this and like make sure that I'm teaching people the right thing, the right way, the like I said before, like the genuine way, not this like over the top like fake Portuguese thing. Like I'm going to teach you guys what I think being Portuguese is really about and how it is, and um so it's just like I think it's changed in the sense that like I now realize that I'm not just this guy making videos. It's like
Yeah.
I'm one of the representatives. I need to make sure I do it right.
So now that you've conquered social media, somewhat conquered the book realm, what type of another venue do you think you could take advantage of? Like maybe, I don't know, some other product, maybe a hot sauce or maybe some
Yeah.
YouTube show about cooking or
I've always wanted
with
to do
contestants, you know?
yeah. I was actually invited to go do I don't know if it's Top Chef or Master Chef in Portugal. They invited me to
Oh,
to be
yeah?
a contestant on there, but they wanted me to go there for 6 months and I couldn't do it. Like we just had the baby like a few
Yeah.
months before that, and I was like, I can't do this.
A whole
No,
six
I've always
months.
envisioned like having like a show where I
Mhm.
like travel Portugal and learn recipes from other people. So like maybe I go to the north and I go to this old lady's house and we show something she makes.
On the
My
road.
grandmother
Yeah.
in the north used to cook like over an open fire. Like
Mhm.
let's show
People
some of
love
that
these videos.
stuff. Yeah, man. So I would like to do something like that. I don't know if it would be like a show here in America or a show in Portugal. I
Yeah.
don't really know what
Or
that looks
eventually
like,
both.
but or both, yeah. But I would like to kind of like just travel Portugal, the country, and show off a little bit more because obviously Portugal's popular now, but everybody knows the main things. Everybody knows
Yeah.
pastel de nata. Everybody knows
Yeah,
bifana.
yeah.
Not everybody knows dobrada or the difference of the
Yeah,
way they do things in Trás Montes, like the way they make enchiladas is different than, like you were saying, the Murcela, it's different where you go. So
yeah.
uh I don't know. I always
But
pictured myself like maybe
hey,
evolving into like a TV thing.
but even the fast food stuff, like for example, I went there like 2 years ago, right? My son, we took so like you know how North America is famous for like the hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff. But like if you go to a chlot in Portugal, like I used to work in the nightclubs. I used to be a bouncer for a while. If you go to a chlot, you have a kebab or a bifano or a cachorro. It's like nothing you've had here. Like it's something. It's on a
No, no,
different
no. Yeah,
level, you know.
yeah, I've
But
had a
my son
kosher
had the
who's
kebab.
like
He's like,
outside the clubs over there. It's wild, man.
oh yeah, he
They
was
put
blown out
like
of the water with
they'll
it. Oh
put
yeah,
like corn on it, batata palha, like all kinds
yeah.
of stuff, man. You have this giant hot
Snowed
dog.
halava.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh yeah.
That, and I like
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
getting the bifanas at like a cholot before the soccer games, like outside
Yeah,
Benfica.
yeah.
Stop, grab a bifana. It's like, man, that's like prime Portuguese experience.
Oh yeah. So let me ask you something. You're gonna put your own personal taste and input in this. Say it's a perfect day and you're at like some event. You got a three-course meal with a dessert in the end and a drink. You start off with a soup, a fish plate, a meat plate, and then a dessert in the end. What's the perfect plate for you? Like your preference?
Oh, okay. So I would love to start off with queijo fresco because I don't have that in Florida unless I
Okay.
make it. You can't buy it here. So
Okay.
queijo fresco with some pão, start off. Um,
Yeah.
Fish plate, I love sapateira recheada. That's my favorite Portuguese food ever.
Yeah.
Last time I was in Portugal, I was there for 10 days and I think I had five of those, like from different places. And I was doing it because I was learning how to make it and I wanted to try them different places because they all make them different.
Yeah.
Um, a meat plate, I would go with the bitok, like a classic bitok, because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can never find a bad one.
Oh yeah.
And then dessert. Oh man, this is a tough one because there's so many good ones, man. I growing up, I always had like mousse de chocolat like all the time. But I
Yeah.
think now as an adult, I really like natas do céu. That's a really good
Yeah. Yeah.
one. What did I make the other day? I made mousse de morango the other day. That was really good too. But I'll go with natas do céu. I think that's a good finisher. And obviously a pastel nata if they have them.
No, but hold on. But we skipped. You need you need a soup to fill in the holes. What kind
Oh,
of soup are you
soup.
going for?
It's got to be caldo verde, man. Like,
Yeah. It's
I
the
mean,
light,
there's
easy.
so many good Portuguese soups, but that's a nice
Ah,
light
I know.
one. You know, I always remember like when we would go to like weddings, like that was always like the first thing you get was a caldo verde, like
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and a lot of people, even that, people like them different ways. Some people like it really thick. I like it more thin.
Yeah.
Uh, there's so many different ways to make everything. But yeah, I think I go with the caldo verde.
So if you want to, it's like not for you, like your advice. If you want to pride yourself of being of Portuguese DNA, what 5 dishes do you have to know how to make?
All right. Okay, this was something on my video the other day that people were arguing about. If you're proper Portuguese and you want to consider yourself a proper Portuguese, you can eat chorizo without cooking it. You just
Yeah.
slice it, you put it in the bread with some cheese,
Oh
and you
yeah.
can eat it. Everybody kept
Oh yeah.
telling me, you got to cook that. You have to saute it. You have to fry it. I'm like, no. Like, chorizo, you cut it open or you slice it into slices and you can eat it just like that. I think that's number one. When you're eating an
Okay.
enchido, you don't have to cook it.
All
Um,
right.
Things to know how to make that too, like I guess a bitok should be
Yeah.
should be on there. A
Oh
caldo
yeah.
verde should be on there.
All right.
Uh, Frango guisado should be on there.
Okay. That's a good
And
one.
at least one bacalhau dish. You should know how to make at least one bacalhau dish.
Yeah.
And
Which
there's
one's your favorite?
ooh, I don't know. I liked something I made in my second book that I didn't really make before was bacalhau com broa. And I really
Yeah.
liked that because the broa
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
top was kind of sweet and the
Yeah.
bacalhau was salty. It kind of gave it a good mix. But what I make here a lot at home is like more like bacalhau brás, bacalhau
Mhm.
lagareiro. I like bacalhau when it's like roasted in the oven and it has like that crisp
Yeah,
on
me
it, you
too. I
know?
love it. Oh
I
yeah.
like or grilled on a grill.
Okay,
I
I'll
like
look
that a
at it.
lot. But yeah, I think people should know how to at least make one. And a lot of people don't even know how to like take the salt off of it. Like, and I teach that a lot too. I make videos like teaching that because even today somebody asked me that, like, how do you
Desalting it,
take the
yeah.
salt off of it? How do you desalt it? And it's like, man, like a lot of times I'll make those videos and people will say like, "Well, that's obvious," and I'm like, "Well, no, it's
Yeah,
not.
but
A
it's
lot of
not
people
obvious
don't
for
know how to do
everyone.
it." Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've been on this amazing journey. You're getting recognized everywhere. I've just noticed you've been invited to host, I think, an award at the IPMA Awards, eh?
I'm presenting an award at the IPMAs. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
how
was
did that
supposed
come
to do
about?
it.
They reached out to you. They invited you
Yeah,
for
yeah,
it,
yeah.
right?
They actually reached out to me 2 years ago, and I couldn't get up there. Then they reached out to me last year, and we had just had a baby, so I couldn't get up there. So finally, this year, like life is a little bit more calm. And when they reached out, I was like, "Yeah, like let's do it this time." And the one of the guys that runs the IPMAs, I've met him in person a few times on like shows and events that I've been a part of. Really nice
Yeah.
guy, Dave Saraiva. Um, so he's always been very what's the word I'm looking for, like appreciative of like what I do for the community. He's always
Hmm.
been very like, he treats me as like I'm a big deal, and I
You
really
were
appreciate
already.
that. But he's always wanted me to be a part of that show, and it's not often that you're going to see a cook on the Portuguese Music Awards. It's but it, I'm more than just a cook, right? Like I kind of cross over into like that pop culture of Portuguese
Yeah,
like
that's
culture.
right. Yeah.
So it's a good fit. So I'm presenting an award. It's on April 25th, and I actually asked them because obviously it's like an award show. They write a script for you, and I asked them to write my script only in Portuguese. I don't want to speak English when I present. So I'm going to be
Nice.
presenting the award in Portuguese, and I think a lot of people when they see me, they're going to expect me to speak English. So I want to kind of surprise everybody and speak Portuguese because I'm fluent, right? So I want to
Yeah, good
represent
for
the
you, man.
culture correctly and show people that like, hey, like the next generation or the American generation, like we still speak Portuguese too. Like even though my videos are in English, I can speak Portuguese as well. So that's on April 25th in Providence, Rhode Island, and then I think like a month or two later they air it on RTP Internacional, so everybody will get to see it on TV as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm really excited for it.
So, in the culminating of all this of your success, what would you say, maybe more like on a fun side, what would you say is like a toxic trait you have that actually works in your benefit? That's actually a net positive for you.
Trying to think of one, like narrow it down to one. I
Just narrow
think
it
at
just one,
first,
eh?
I think at first, like what we were talking about before, when people would leave negative comments, I would bite
Yeah,
back and I would always
yeah.
fight back and I would give it to them good, man. Like in English and Portuguese, it didn't matter. I think the Portuguese term is like sem papas na língua. Like that's me. If I have something to say, like I'm gonna say it. And I think at the beginning, people really appreciated that. Like, hey, here's this guy. He's cooking and he's not taking shit from anybody. Like, and people enjoyed that. It is a bit
I
of a
love that.
toxic trait, though. Like I said to you before, like I don't really spend too much time doing that anymore. It's not good for your mental health. It's better to ignore those types of people and move on. But I think at the beginning, it really helped me a lot because people enjoyed seeing that and they would get a good laugh out of it. And sometimes I
For
still
sure,
do it
man.
once in a while if I see like a good opportunity to kind of like they take a jab at somebody who's trying to come at me, like I'll do it. But I try not to anymore. Maybe it's with age or maybe because I'm a dad now, but like that's something I've toned down a little bit. But I would say that's a toxic trait that definitely helped me in the beginning.
Yeah, man. Okay, I guess one more question before we wrap this up. If like, let's say social media were to disappear forever tomorrow, what would you miss the most, and what would you think your life would benefit from the most?
I would get a lot more time back, that's for sure. Because I spent a lot of time editing videos and cooking and like people expect recipes every week, right? Like there's a schedule I stay on where I cook a certain amount of
Yeah,
recipes every week and I edit a certain amount of videos. So I would get a lot more time back. But what I would miss would be like I get a lot of laughs out of social media. Like I like TikTok a lot. I like watching TikTok videos, and I'll usually send a bunch of videos to my wife, and then like once a week we'll sit there and like watch 40 videos together and just laugh together at like just stupid stuff that's out there, man. Just funny stuff, and
oh yeah,
uh, I get a lot of my like comedic enjoyment out of social media. So I think I would miss the laughs, but it does take up a lot of my time, and I try to uh be a little bit better about controlling that and not letting it
Mhm.
like take over, because it's very easy to let this take over.
Plug in your like your major channels where people follow you the most, where you have more
Yeah.
content
So
coming out.
Instagram and TikTok is at how to cook stuff. Facebook is at how to cook Portuguese stuff. My website is howtocookportuguesestuff.com. That's where I sell my books, and I give out some recipes on that site as well, like written recipes for free. But that's it. I mean, how to cook stuff, or if you type in how to cook stuff or how to cook Portuguese stuff on Google, you'll find me. But the best way to support me is to pick up the book. Obviously, that's
Yeah,
that's
for
that's
sure.
the main thing, and um, they're both really good books. People message me all the time saying like, "Hey, like I use your book at least once a week." Like it's recipes that you're gonna make weekly for dinner. It's not like these super fancy things you're never gonna touch. It's a real usable book, both of them. So yeah, how to cook Portuguese stuff or how to cook stuff.
Even the way you put it together with like it's not typical book. Like you can literally open the book and it stays open. Yeah, like it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
miss a page. The
I
page
got that
isn't
idea
flipping
from
through.
somebody else.
Yeah,
There was this lady, can't remember her name. I think her name was like Milena or something. She's Portuguese, and she had a book like that as well. And I asked her
yeah,
about it. I'm like, hey, where did you print these? Like, I ended up going somewhere else, but I really always loved that idea of like the spiral
yeah,
end where it could just stay open. Because
mhm,
normally cookbooks, like you open them and then they flap and they flap, and you
yeah.
can't really like you
The
have to put a
headache.
rock on it to read it. So yeah, I tried to make the book as like usable as possible. Like you're really gonna get to use this thing.
Yo, let me tell you, this was a blast. I really enjoy your content. You're loved
Thanks, man.
amongst the diaspora. Everyone loves your personality. I don't need to teach you nothing, but obviously the haters even help with the algorithm sometimes. It's good that
Oh
there's
yeah.
haters, but you're generally loved by everyone. We all love you. Keep doing what
Thanks,
you're
man.
doing. I hope you all the success in the world. I hope you make another two or three books. I hope you make a TV show where you're going throughout Portugal, America, maybe even other
Yeah,
diasporas.
man.
If you have a big community, I think there's actually quite a few of Portuguese in Australia and whatnot, not to mention Europe. They're all over Europe, Belgium, France. I hope you really take this, make this your life.
For
I
sure,
hope
man. I appreciate it, man. I
all the
appreciate all
success.
that. That's really nice. But yeah, at the end of the day, I just hope people enjoy the content. Um, I just want to continue having fun doing it. And that's really it, man. As long as I
Yeah,
enjoy it and people enjoy it, then I'm happy.
that's it. That's the best way to end this. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and hit that like button below. Obrigado e até a próxima.